You don't leave clinical work because you hate patients. You leave because you're exhausted and quietly wondering if this is sustainable. When I moved into pharma, I thought it would be more money and having my weekends back to see my friends and family. What I didn't expect is the emotional relief. And the part that no one talks about is what life looks like after clinical burnout. Now, if you've ever been a doctor or a nurse working in the hospital, or maybe a pharmacist or physio working out in the community, you know that feeling of getting home exhausted and wanting nothing more than to sit down. You're exhausted but terrified you'll regret leaving the career and wasting all that time at uni. I too was in your position, but community pharmacy pushed me to the brink and I was ready to do anything but community pharmacy. I've even joked about it on interviews with guests in this channel about wanting to be a toilet cleaner rather than a pharmacist.
We joked about being the toilet cleaner and getting the broom and sweeping the floor, but yeah guys, if you're finding pharma is a real tough code to crack.
And so rather than be a leaf blown around in the wind, I decided to take control of my own destiny. And as they say, it's so much easier to look back on things with hindsight. But that's why I'm here to share it with you. And these are the 5 things I want to talk to you about today on what life looks like after clinical burnout and moving to what many of my pharmacist friends told me was the dark side. The first change is moving away from nights and weekend shifts to having autonomy over my schedule, especially in pharmaceutical sales. Now, I know for many of you out there, when you have thought about entering the pharmaceutical industry, the last role on your mind is probably pharmaceutical sales. It's always medical affairs or becoming an MSL. But on this channel, I really want to encourage you to think about the word sales differently. I know there are so many negative connotations associated with it, but actually sales is just having a conversation, just like we are right now. And if you want to know the 3 reasons why I think pharmaceutical sales is the perfect role for clinicians to start off in, check the link in the description below. I know you'll find it very eye-opening, especially around the flexibility in controlling your time and winning back your most precious asset. Now, the second one I want to talk about is the emotional load versus the intellectual load. Sure, moving into pharma does mean stepping away from being a frontline healthcare worker, but that in itself is going to immediately put deposits in your bank. Let's start with working from home or even working from an office. No more standing up, no more sore legs, but that returned energy means you're able to pursue other hobbies before or after work, whether that's joining a run club, going to the gym, walking to school with your kids, or after work going for dance lessons, having a drink, or maybe you just want personal time to read a book. And the other immediate benefit for the pharmacists out there like me, no retail customers, which immediately translates into less demanding people, less conflict, and more doing meaningful work. Now, for the nurses in the hospital, I know timesheets and clocking in can be a pain. And with strict 30-minute breaks, it's not a nice feeling. Once you move into corporate, you control your time. Assuming you have a good manager, they just want you to get the work done. They trust you. If you go for an hour lunch, 2 hours, that's on you. Just get the work done. Now let's talk about the intellectual load. Sure, as doctors, nurses, pharmacists, physios, dealing with challenging patient problems is very stimulating. But that's no different in pharma. We're dealing with complex medications, complex reimbursement, complex market access challenges. So the intellectual stimulation is certainly still there. I would argue you're still having clinician level conversations, but at scale, especially if you're in an MSL or pharmaceutical sales representative role. My point here is the pharma industry preserves your impact whilst also reducing burnout triggers. Now, the third piece is around what surprised me the most after leaving clinical work, and that is the abundance of opportunity there is in the pharmaceutical industry. My first role in the pharma industry, medical quality and compliance, I had no clue what I was doing. All I knew is I wanted a change. And once I got my foot in the door, it opened my eyes to the breadth of opportunities there are across pharmacovigilance, medical information, regulatory affairs, clinical trials, marketing, sales, medical affairs. Truly, the world is your oyster. And I think as a clinician who has studied a science-based degree at university, you will find the abundance of opportunities extremely enjoyable and equally stimulating. There is no dead end where, unfortunately, where I saw in the hospital system as a pharmacist, I needed to get to grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, and the grading would really only happen when someone above me either retired or moved on. So immediately there is a ceiling put on you as you start your role. Versus in pharma, the world truly is your oyster. And on the topic of the world, the opportunity to work overseas, to work in London, to work in New York, that is not something being a healthcare professional offers you without sitting expensive exams and more than likely having to retrain. Now the fourth point I want to talk about also extends from what has surprised me, and that was my mindfulness. I found when I stepped back away from burnout, I became a much better grandson, a much better son, a much better boyfriend, a much better entrepreneur, and maybe slightly better YouTuber. It gave me headspace to be fully present in whatever I was doing. And that concept we hear over and over again when we fly on planes, putting the oxygen mask on yourself before others, filling up your own cup before you can pour into others. Unfortunately, as frontline healthcare workers, we are constantly filling up other people's cups, which of course is extremely fulfilling. And that is part of the reason why I went to Africa. But at the same time, you need to be mindful of how it's draining you and the opportunity cost. And I think in this life, time is so short, I could imagine nothing worse than working 60 years and getting to retirement, finally to try kick up my feet and think, oh my God, I have no friends, I have no family around me. Even my kids, I haven't been there for them because I've constantly been out there pouring into other people's cups. Now my final point is probably the most interesting because it's what doesn't improve when you leave clinical work and come to work in corporate. And I have 3 for you. The first one is politics. Just like the hospital system, working in corporate has lots and lots of politics. There's always something stupid that happens at the work Christmas party. There's always going to be some manager having an affair with someone else. There's always going to be the dodgy teammate who everyone wants to get rid of. But if I can give one bit of advice here, it's to stay out of the drama. Keep it for nighttime Netflix. Do not bring it into your work life. Do not get involved. The second one is micromanaging. I'd be a liar to say, as soon as you go into corporate, there is no micromanaging. But unfortunately, with good eggs and bad eggs, there are good leaders and bad leaders. And some leaders who aren't as self-aware or are new to the game tend to like control and micromanaging because it gives them peace of mind. The last one to build on that is, whilst as a generalization, people in pharma are great people. A lot of them are clinicians, and you hear about a lot of people switching from other industries into pharma because they say it's a dog-eat-dog world and I don't want to be a part of that. I find in pharma, everyone is my friend, it's like a family vibe, which generally is true. But as I've unfortunately experienced in my time, there are some very toxic leaders out there, some narcissists who only care about their own career and will work you to the ground to achieve the outcomes they want and to make them look good so that they can get their next promotion. Now I'll say it again, if this video is hitting close to home, I want you to click this video here to help you decide if a career in pharmaceutical sales is for you. But importantly, relief alone is not enough. Most clinicians who fail in industry fail because they bring the wrong habits with them. In this next video, I'll show you the exact habits you must unlearn.